And here's AOE Scorn compared next to... What the hell is that?
I was trying my best.
Hey guys, welcome back to Unimportant Reviews. My name's Steve, and today we'll be going over the Transformers Generation Deluxe line Age of Extinction Scorn, which I have no idea who this is. So if anybody's actually ever heard of this character outside of this movie, I would really love to hear it in the comments because I've never heard of the character Scorn out of any of the iterations that I've really paid attention to, which is the G1, Beast Wars, and the Prime series, and the video game iterations. So it'd be really cool to hear about it. But overall, for the actual character, I really love the Spinosaurus design because ever since Jurassic Park 3 and watching the Spinosaurus murder the T-Rex in the movie, I've had a pretty big fixation for that dinosaur ever since. And I really like how the robot form is actually looking on the side here. So I'm actually really excited to get this guy out of the packaging. And so for the packaging, I really like the concept image that they got up here of the Spinosaurus head. And he looks pretty gnarly up there. And then a nice clean Transformers logo over here with this robot image right there. And then for the side of the packaging, it just shows the same Spinosaurus image with Generations Deluxe. And then for the back of the packaging, it just shows him in his robot form and alt mode, which is Spinosaurus. And the tail becomes a spear, which is awesome and looks a lot like Beast Wars Megatron, but we'll get into that in a minute. And then it shows the other characters in the line, which is Dinobot Slug, Crosshairs, and Bumblebee. And then if you guys want to read the bio real quick, I'll let you. Alright, we good? Good? Alright. Yeah, nothing here for the stats, which still makes me sad. So, it's enough about that. Let's get him open up out of this plastic prison. Prepare to be unleashed. Yeah. So I love that out of the packaging, this is literally how he came out. It's just... giggity. Sorry. I'm sorry, I just had to show. So now that we have Scorn open up out of his plastic prison, overall design I think actually doesn't look too bad, personally. Because getting in with this head sculpt here, I think it actually turned out really nice. Overall, it really does give off that nice Spinosaurus vibe. My only real complaint that I'm noticing right now with it is his eyes here are actually probably the least detailed of the ones I've reviewed so far. Because the other ones have that nice like optical look and usually have like some lines going on or something like that. Well, he's just has a relatively plain set of eyes, so that's a little bit... I wish they would have kept the trend with all these. But still, overall, I think the head sculpt's really nice, and I love the teeth in here, and he has like that little metal tongue going on in there. Overall, it's a really awesome look, and then with his body here, it gives off this nice exoskeleton look with all the ridges here, especially along his tail here. Which is a really nice look that I think they went with these because it kind of helps differentiate them between the Gen 1s and whatnot, because those guys are pretty solid while these guys got a lot more visual appeal. And then also another thing I'm really surprised with these guys is overall with the paint application with them. Granted, they don't look like what I'd imagine they're going to be in the movie because they're probably going to be a lot darker colors and like blacks and grays and gunmetals. Well, they've all been relatively brightly colored, like he's red in this nice orange color. And I've actually been really surprised with the paint applications on these guys. Because overall, like even with him, he's actually got a really nice one. I wouldn't say it's better than the Strafe, but still, it's really nice. I'm glad that they're keeping up with that with the trend with all the other Dinobots. So that's a really nice touch. And then he's got the longer hands here, which is right for a Spinosaurus. His legs here are pretty cool. Nothing too fancy out of it. And then for his tail here, and one thing I want to point out is it's made out of this softer rubber. So usually I would think this would be like a hard plastic, but it's actually a really nice touch. And then coming down here, you can see this is where his weapon storage is, which I actually really love because I figured it was going to be like sitting someplace on his side or something, where it's pretty much what like I'm used to by now. But yeah, actually it hides really well. If I can actually put it back in right, not fail. Oh god, I'm failing hard. There we go, we're good. God, it takes like a genius to figure this out, man.
That's why you're failing.
That's why I'm failing. And then I also really like the Spinosaurus bridge. There's a fin going on back here. It's really nice because it has like this nice light gray, and then it has the red paint applications coming up here, so it gives it a nice little detail. And it's a nice little added touch that they added. And overall in design, to be honest, I don't think he's my favorite. I still think he's a really good design. But personally, my favorite's still Strafe right now. But I think he compares pretty well to Grimlock in terms of looks. And then getting in for his articulation, his mouth goes up and down. His head can move side to side, which is really cool. And then it also has a rotation. So he actually has a lot of posability with his head here, which is really nice. His arms are on ball joints. So they move pretty freely. And then for his legs here, they're a little bit hindered in movement, but it's easy if you move these little flaps down, which are extra little mouths for some reason. But anyways, you can flip those down and you get a lot of posability out of it because it's on a ball joint up here. So you can move it forward and back. And it's pretty free-flowing. And then when you're done moving, you just set it back up. And then he has a rotation here at the upper leg. He has a bend right here at the knee. And then he also has a bend right here, which is for the transformation, but you can also use that if you need to. And nothing really for the feet here. And same with the tail, it's fixed in here because it locks in right here, down by his private region. But if you pop it out, you can use it to get a little bit more posability, but then it starts to look a little weird where he's like, I'm swiping my tail, but it's broken. So it's an option. It's a little bit of a goofy option, but it's one nonetheless. Overall, with this dinosaur form, I think it's actually turned out really nice. Let's get him in the robot form and see if it works a little better for me. And here's AOE Scorn comparing next to Grimlock and dinosaur form, which this scale actually doesn't work for me as well as it does in robot form because mainly the Spinosaurus is a little bit bigger in real life, and in the film it could be different. So I gotta wait to judge it, but just for right now, I wish he was a little bit more comparable to him. And here's AOE Scorn compared next to AOE Strafe, which I actually really love this in comparison. So here's Scorn in robot form. First we're going to go over his little accessory, which is his sword, which it's nothing too much going on here. I like the serrated look to it, but overall it's kind of really small. But I really like the storage for it because, again, like with it in a dinosaur form, it just stores right here. So for the most part, I'm probably just going to keep it in there. But you can put it in his hand over here. So it gives you a little bit more of an option. So you can hold it and be like he's about to shank somebody. But getting it out of here. Overall in this form, I actually am in love with this thing in robot form. Mainly because this is by far, like I swear that this guy was originally a concept for Beast Wars Megatron for them to bring back. And they decided to paint him red and orange and give him a new name. Because this guy is very reminiscent of that, and that is by far my favorite Megatron out of all the series. So this guy already gets a lot of bonus points for me. So first getting into his details, I actually really love this helmet. I think it looks pretty cool, and again with the common theme between all of them is they have like night looks to them. And this is pretty basic looking of a night helmet, but it's still really nice, and I love this baby blue paint application. And overall, like the red and oranges really work well for me. And then with his arm here, this is the Spinosaurus head, which I'd even just keep the mouth closed. Like I think that looks pretty fine too. But in the instructions, it recommends having it all the way up, which looks a little weird to me, but that's just the way they want it. And then over here is his spear arm, which I actually really like how they did that. I think this looks really nice, and it's a little bit more of a suitable weapon for him. And then it's got the Autobot logo here, which, again, really wish that was a Dinobot logo, but we'll roll with it. And one thing I actually don't understand is, why is their mouths down here? Because you can clearly still see it right here, so why does he need that there? Like, it's even got, like, the upper ridge of the mouth, and yeah, it's just, I don't know if that's just how it's supposed to, like, maybe that's where his mouth are in the movie or something. But it's a weird touch. Like, I like it. I still think it looks nice, but it's just odd. And for his legs here, he still keeps the trend of the elk boots. So, overall in robot form, I think he looks pretty nice. And then you can see one little problem is the big piece of plastic is hanging up here from his lower body, which his hands come down to hold his butt, which I think that overall, like, it tucks in really nice and hides well, at least for the hands, but that's just kind of a big old glare of a problem, which I guess you could probably bring it down and maybe move the hands up. Which still kind of looks a little odd. But a lot of times you could be looking at it from the front anyway, so it's not a super big issue, but it's there. Then I also really like how the fins like rotate and come up on his back too. That's just a really sweet look. And then for his articulation, it's a little odd because his head, when you transform it, you have to lift it up. And that's where I noticed that it has a... Stop pushing the camera, Spear. It has a swivel here, which is actually, if you look back here, it's on a ball joint. But the way his helmet is designed, when you go to move it up, it literally snaps up. So he's either looking up like, he's like, wait, what is that? Or it snaps down, so he's got more of like a menacing kind of look. So I'd imagine you could probably get a little bit of the plastic there off, so it wouldn't have that snap motion. But it kind of defeats the purpose of having a ball joint. So it's a little odd for me. And then he has a rotation at the shoulder, goes all the way around. Also has a bend. And then over here he has a rotation at the bicep and a bend at the elbow. That's pretty much it for here. Here, it's got the rotation, it's got the bend, it's got another rotation at the bicep. But here it's got the bend where the neck joint is, so it actually gets a lot of range of motion out of there. And then his hand is on a swivel here because of the transformation. So nothing too much more going there. And then his hips, if you set this upright, when you have this up, it locks, get the hands down. This locks into place, which restricts his hip motion. So if you pop it out a little bit, he gets a rotation right at the waist, which actually, now look at it, you can't really rotate all the way out. So you can only really get him rotating like that, because this way it literally won't move any farther. So it's not bad to have a lockup, but if you want to have him like rotating a little bit, you gotta dislocate it. And at the legs, it's pretty much the same as the other legs, where it's at a ball joint here. Rotates at the upper thigh. Bend at the upper part of the knee. You got bend at the lower part of the knee if you really wanted. And nothing really at the feet. So, pretty much overall with this figure, get him standing back upright. Looking kind of cool. So overall with the figure, I think he actually, in this form, this is probably my favorite between the two, just because it's very reminiscent of Megatron. So overall, this actually is probably going to be the way I display him on my shelf. For a quick comparison, here's Scorn in robot form compared next to Beast Wars Megatron in robot form, because, again, this is very eerily similar. And here's Scorn compared next to my favorite AOE figure right now in Strafe. And here's AOE Scorn compared next to AOE Grimlock, which I actually think this is a really awesome scale. So overall with Scorn, I actually really do like this figure still. Granted, he's not really my favorite overline. Like, I still really like Strafe, but he pretty well ties with me with Grimlock right now. Because overall his dinosaur form is pretty good, and I really actually do love the robot form for him, because it's really reminiscent of the Beast Wars Megatron. So I really actually do recommend picking him up if you're a fan of Dinobots or the Transformer movie figures in general. I really do think he's worth it. So you guys excited about Scorn? Are you guys excited about the new movie? Or do you guys just not like going to the cinemas in general? Please let us know in the comments. And if you guys want to see a closer image of them, we'll have them on Facebook if you want to click the link in the description below. And if you guys like this and want to see more stuff like this, please give us a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.